We just got a whole batch of new polling from NBC, CNN, and a few other sources, giving us a fresh perspective and update on really the whole layout of politics in America in early 2025. As we know, a lot has changed both politically, economically, even America's foreign policy has radically shifted so far in 2025. Up until now, the stock market was really the core data point that we had showing how Americans are interpreting this data, but this isn't a perfect clear gauge because the stock market hates uncertainty, and there's a lot of that going on right now. So this new batch of polling data should give us a slightly different perspective on what's going on here. And to set the stage for this data, the Democrats are having a really rough time so far under the Trump administration because essentially they are trying to figure out a strategy of resistance. Some members within the Democratic Party want to resist everything, and others want to take a more targeted approach and only fight battles that are worth fighting. And this division and lack of direction just came to a head with this latest spending bill, where Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who originally opposed this GOP spending bill, essentially did a 180 and supported the bill in order to keep the government open. As you can imagine, this infuriated lots of the Democratic Party, where according to polls, 65% of Democrats wanted Chuck Schumer to resist Republican efforts, and it's even sparking calls for Chuck Schumer to resign. But ultimately, Chuck Schumer and a few select Democratic senators decided to support this bill because they viewed a government shutdown as not really helping their cause. And this leads us into the latest polling, and we're going to begin here with polling on the Democratic Party, because here the Democratic Party as a whole received some of their lowest ever favorability ratings. According to this poll by NBC, just 27% of registered voters viewed the Democratic Party positively, and that included 59% of self-identified Democrats. And dated back over 30 years, this is how that data has been polled before, and we can see indeed that this is a rather historic time for the Democrats in a negative way. And to give some further commentary on this, I think the main culprit of this very negative data for the Democratic Party right now goes beyond just the indecisiveness between what strategy to approach the Trump administration with. There's also just no new promising up-and-coming figure on the Democratic side. And to prove this, here's a list of top Democrats ranked by popularity. Number 1 and number 2 are past presidents, which can never hold office again. Number 3 is Kamala Harris, and I don't think she really has much of a political future within the party. Then we have Bernie Sanders, and he is in his mid-80s. Then we have Tim Walz, another forgettable figure, followed by Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton. And what we're not seeing here is a younger, moderate Democrat that has a good chance of actually winning an election. Now, on the Republican side, when it comes to this latest NBC polling data, 47% approve of Trump so far, while 51% disapprove. And compared to his first term, here, on average, his approval rating was in the low 40s, with disapproval in the low 50s. So using that as the benchmark, his current numbers are surprisingly good given all of the market turbulence around his policy decisions so far. Now, they did go on to further break up this data into border, foreign policy, the economy, inflation, and foreign policy between Russia and Ukraine. And on this, Trump continues to show strength on border security, one of his top issues, but he is losing ground when it comes to the economy, because during his first term, he was very strong on both border and the economy. And so far, with tariffs and inflation still being high, we're beginning to see his numbers on the economy fall a little bit.